most successful streamer that no one will admit it's the lucky. Oh my God. I think I would give him at least a 3. At least. Okay, weaponizing you being poor is also cringe. Okay, I'm sorry that they're both in the wrong. Like they are both wrong. Here we go.
Comedians, there's another 5 who are completely despised, and it's no secret that joke thief Dane Cook fits snugly into category 2.
Wait, yo, what's wrong with Dane Cook?
In 2005, Dane Cook was listed as the world's most famous comic,
yeah.
Although despite being known by an audience of millions, he was notably hated by every other comedian.
What?
A comedy radio host stated, "Not one comedian comes on my show and says I'm so happy for him, which is weird. They can't stand this poor guy, the reason for which being jealousy, at least according to Dane."
A lot of jealousy, a lot of animosity that I, at a young age, was famous, hanging around with beautiful women, rich.
Although the real reason might have been because Dane had stolen their jokes, given he was called out for copying a bit done by Louis C.K.
You can name your kid anything you want. I like that part. I'd like to give my kid an interesting name, you know? Like a name with no vowels, maybe, you know? Just like 40 Fs, that's his name.
I already have names picked out. I don't even know. First kid, boy, girl, I don't care. The first one that comes out, I'm naming it. I think it's beautiful. It's feminine but strong at the same time. Time for bed. I said time for bed.
Fans then noticed.
Oh, I've heard that joke. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Can I give it 100%? That's one of his worst jokes. Okay? That joke's, I've heard that 1,000. That one's terrible. Now, when Louis C.K. told that same joke, it actually was funny. That one's fucking awful.
Dane had also copied a bit by 𝗧𝗪𝗜𝗧𝗖𝗛 at around the.
I remember Dane Cook was also accused of stealing Mitch Hedberg's jokes. Mitch Hedberg was super underrated but funny as fuck.
The same time.
I went into a shoe store and I said, hey, can I get those in a 10? The guy said, sure, and he went in the back. And a couple minutes later he came out and he goes, I don't have a 10, I have a 9. Great. Because while you were in the back, my toes were severed off.
Okay, that's actually so fire. Okay, I need to use that. That shit is funny. Oh, thank God. Yeah, my fucking legs blew up. That's so fucking good. It's so condescending. It's so passive aggressive. Wait, that is actually so fucking funny.
Came out and he goes, I don't have a 10, I have a 9. Great. Because while you were in the back, my toes were severed off.
She walks out. She comes up to me, you guys, so enthusiastic, such like optimism. She's holding a boot. She comes right up to me and she goes, we have it in a 9. Great. You guys also have a bone saw anywhere nearby?
With Patrick CC.
My God, wait, that actually is a straight rip.
Running through even more examples in this video before touching on another reason Dane Cook is hated. His joke about the Batman movie theater shooting.
So I heard that the guy came into the theater about 25 minutes into the movie. I don't know if you've seen the movie. The movie's pretty much a piece of crap. Pretty sure that somebody in that theater about 25 minutes in realizing it was a piece of crap probably was like, oh, shoot me.
The controversial joke resulted in article after article, as well as Twitter posts reading, anyone who knows me knows I think Dane Cook is the single worst comedian ever. He's
I don't know. I don't like joke policing. You know, me personally, I don't like joke policing. I believe everything should be allowed to be joked about. Sure, if it was a little bit too soon, I get that, but I don't really think there's anything wrong with trying to make light of dark events. You know, that's how some people cope. So I don't really want to joke police that, but maybe that's just my opinion.
He's never been funny.
The issue was that it was not funny. Well, humor's subjective.
Now he's just an awful human being. But while Dane Cook isn't...
I don't think someone's a bad human being because they told a bad joke. You know, because it's about the intent. Like, was it their intent to tell a bad joke and hurt people's feelings? No, it was probably his intent to. And don't get me wrong, I don't give a fuck about Dan Cook. Like, it's about intent, right? I don't think that makes anybody an awful human being. That's just my opinion. I think that people are just fucking just farming.
Liked for his disrespectful and sometimes stolen jokes, 𝗧𝗪𝗏 is hailed for his unusual originality. His sense of humor has been described as that I can't compare him to any other
Apple just be
comedian, which
making shit these days,
summarizes
man.
𝗧𝗪𝗏 perfectly.
They
There's
genuinely
a few
just be making
guys,
shit.
Theo's one of them, that have like a style of comedy that you will never be able to explain to someone. They gotta go see him.
When you hear him say, "We had this one guy," you know you're about to hear a wild story full of bizarre situations and metaphors described in the strangest yet most perfect way possible.
This one gentleman had half a limb, and
Which limb?
he was missing part of his leg, I think, or he said he was, so he could have been faking it.
CGI or something?
I don't know what his name was. CJ, it was a white dude.
Okay, yeah.
He's the absolute king of the metaphor. Whenever he says something is kinda like etc., it's always the funniest, most outlandish comparison I've ever heard.
You look like a guy if somebody had a cheat code in Double Dragon, bro. And they got to use an ultimate character, man.
Dan Tony.
Amen, dude.
There are multiple compilations dedicated to 𝗧𝗪𝗏's absolutely wild sayings, although at the same time he's able to show his softer, more vulnerable side in moments where it's appropriate. 𝗧𝗪𝗏's podcast this past weekend has risen to become the 7th most popular podcast on Spotify, while Brendan Schaub's bad reputation has caused his podcast to trend in the opposite direction.
Oh, no.
Brendan had previously been a UFC fighter. However, after a string of losses, he was convinced by Joe Rogan and Brian Callen to retire and instead pursue comedy.
You have a future in other things and you're really good.
How the fuck does that translate? Oh, yeah, you suck at MMA now? Be a comedian. How does that make any fucking sense? Those two do not correlate. That makes no sense. What type of Joe Rogan advice is that?
Good at. Like, you're really funny.
You say funny shit, man.
Yeah, you do. You have a ridiculous talent for that.
Although with comments on Brendan's stand-up like, "This is the best example of normal people thinking they're funny because they make their friends laugh," his sets aren't exactly the greatest. His first stand-up special titled You'd Be Surprised received an IMDb rating of 1.4 out of 10 stars and was labeled in front of millions as the worst comedy special I've ever seen. It was so bad that even Joe Rogan made a few little jokes about it.
The first one, I would have probably tried to talk you out of it, but I already talked you out of fighting. Yeah. And I was like, I can't talk him out of this too.
However, for Brendan, the worst was yet to come. 3 years after his first special, Brendan Schaub released another one titled Gringo Papi, which received an even lower IMDb score of 1.1 out of 10 stars, meaning he was unable to sell it to a major buyer like Netflix. Instead, he uploaded the special to his YouTube channel, where it received an 85% dislike ratio and comments such as, "Damn, this guy sure has some hidden talent. Hope he finds it one day."
Oh, that is wild, dude. Oh, shit, man.
Every time I feel down, I watch Gringo Papi. Then I realize whatever has me down or whatever adversity I am facing isn't as bad as this comedy special. You know it's a Brendan Schaub stand-up special when the comments are funnier than the actual video. With the stand-up again being labeled as the worst comedy special of all time, it seems Brendan's main problem is that he isn't very skilled, and the audience has therefore been...
Okay. I'll be the judge of that. Gringo Papi.
Every day I'm really trying to get it. I take the L and elevate, I push it past the limit. Don't need no diamonds on my wrist.
Okay.
Because I
good shit, YouTube.
Just like the thing.
Okay, now I get why people don't like this. Okay. Wow, this is crazy, actually.
Boy squad. Big boy squad.
All right, I'm going to take this as a sign that even YouTube doesn't want to listen to this shit. That's wild, actually.
Gravitating towards Shane Gillis. He got his big break in 2019 after being cast on Saturday Night Live, which he was then fired from immediately after the media dug up controversial comments made on his podcast.
And then I got canceled immediately.
You got canceled on the way.
They literally were like, how about this guy? And everyone was like, no.
Shane responded by writing, "I'm a comedian who pushes boundaries. Sometimes I miss. If you go through my 10 years of comedy, most of it bad, you're going to find a lot of bad misses. But while this made him unsuitable for SNL, this was ironically exactly what the wider comedy audience wanted. No wonder SNL fired him. He's actually funny. This in combination with the mountains of press from the...
Dude, I remember when Saturday Night Live... Oh, man, this is a boomer take. I remember when Saturday Night Live was actually funny. Dude, these days, goddamn, you could not pay me enough to watch that shit. It is agenda push after agenda push. There's no risk taking on any humor whatsoever. It's like reading jokes on like the end of a popsicle stick that you suck clean like your mom's. Anyways.
Incident took Shane's popularity to a whole new level.
The months after SNL, our listenership probably quadrupled because then people heard about it and watched it.
So it's helped the podcast.
Like, this is actually funny.
So it's helped the podcast.
Tremendously.
Only made crazier when he'd post his live set in Austin, which gained over 20 million views by touching on funny political topics, although in a good way where it felt like he didn't have an agenda.
And I don't want to be on the other side of it where it's like, I'm a free speech guy. It's like, dude, I don't want to be involved in any of this. I just want to do comedy.
Shane's great attitude and likable personality has made him the most subscribed person on Patreon with around 75,000 paid members.
People use Patreon for things other than porn? Is that normal? Wait, hold up. Is that like common knowledge? I thought Patreon was like porn exclusivity. Bro, your podcast is a Patreon? Yeah, and I've never seen it. RPG maps, 3D models. Oh, I know 3D models. Okay, that's wild, bro. That is fucking wild. I learned it can be used for porn later on, actually. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought it was only for.
In comparison to Carrot Top,
porn isn't allowed on Patreon anymore. I don't know about that. For reasons I don't want to talk about. I don't know about that.
Whose style was so unique the whole industry turned against him. He gained popularity as a prop comic in the 90s, but while his shows were extremely smart and absolutely hilarious,
O.J. Simpson's football. Okay, go deep, honey, go deep.
His bizarre look and style made him a punching bag for anybody and everybody.
You're a funny guy, man, and you at least used to take a lot of shit, and I never understood it.
I don't either. I never.
God damn, he looks rough.
Everything.
It's like Nickelback.
This became most obvious when Carrot Top simply flew over his city in a fighter jet.
And the next day on the front page of the paper, Carrot Top disrupts city with flyover. And everyone's up in arms because the building shook and everybody was like, oh, what, there's a war happening? and I think they were really, honestly, just pissed because it was me.
And in a Reddit thread talking about him, the only reasons people had to hate Carrot Top was he's annoying, not funny, and comes across as a gigantic douchebag.
This sounds really familiar.
Which pretty much confirms.
Also, that's a 3-upvote comment.
Confirms the theory. Carrot Top's name has become synonymous with bad comedian we should make fun of. In another article, Carrot Top was described as the most successful comedian no one will admit to liking, with one of these haters being the
most successful streamer no one will admit to liking. That would be a... Wait, bro. Okay, real quick. Can somebody edit this? Called Tectone, the most successful streamer no one will admit to liking, and then put an image of Dicktown. I will tweet that out. I will tweet that out live. If somebody makes that. If somebody makes that, I'll tweet out immediately. I'll even put your name underneath as a credit.
Described as the most successful comedian no one will admit to liking, with one of these haters being another comedy legend.
So is Bill Burr just going coals on me? I mean, just right? I mean, just bad.
Who then apologized to Carrot Top after meeting him in person.
And then when I finally meet him, he was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, he came and hugged me. And
Carrot Top was hated for so long that he's now considered a legend.
So where's the part where he's a bad guy?
Kind of like saying, you know what, geez, he won't go away. We've been ripping on him, but he's for some reason, he's still around, and you know what? He can stay now.
You had somebody
earn my wings.
With Bobby Lee having a...
Wait, he's actually just hated for no fucking reason for so long. Now he's just a fucking legend? Wait, so he's actually a good dude? That's awful. That makes me feel fucking terrible, bro. Actually hated for nothing. Bro, that's crazy. That's crazy, dude.
Earned his wings in a similar kind of way. One of the things that makes Bobby Lee so likable is his ability to laugh at himself for the sake of audience entertainment.
Bro, you're the worst looking of all of us.
What do you think he is out of 10, for real?
You're a 2, buddy.
2, buddy.
You're like a 2.5 at most, probably closer to a 1.5.
Give me a bigger number.
Okay. You want an honest number?
No, honest.
Okay. You want the honest number?
Please.
I was being generous as a 1.5.
I'm a 1.5?
Something close to 1.7.
Did you say what? I think he's fuckable. I would give him at least a 3. At least. Okay?
Knowing that he's comfortable in his own skin.
Now, Jamie Oliver, I would actually get a 1. I don't know. Actually, maybe a 2 because his skin's not fucked up. But goddamn, he's one of the ugliest looking men on the entire fucking planet. It is actually wild how stupid this fucker looks. Full respect, love his music. It's good, right? Good music, but goddamn, he looks stupid.
This helps him deliver some of the most savage roasts on the internet.
My dad abandoned me, but then I love my mom. In your face! He doesn't have a dad!
Although just like Theo Von, his fans also have a lot of respect for how open he is with his addiction issues and sobriety.
I'm going to keep it 100%. I'm going to give you a hot take. I think it's cool, and I think it's actually a bonus to not have both your parents. That's what I think. You want to know why? Because strong people will overcome, and they will become the person they needed in their life. And that's how true strength is formed. I think if you have both parents and you live a sheltered life, I think you're weak. Unironically. I think that you're weak because you're too comfortable. Because you have no reason to want to escape, to get out. I also think people who live worse lives early will live better lives later. Because they will want to make something of themselves. My opinion. Both parents equals sheltered. Well, unless they both beat you, then that's a W. I think being raised in a shit household is good. I do, genuinely. You know, that was probably my biggest benefit, was when you live in a shit household, you will want to get the fuck out of that household. Because I'll be real. Okay, like why would you want to get out of your house if it's your favorite place? Genuinely. Does that mean orphans make the best people? Well, I mean, I feel like orphans make great people. Right? But I feel like if you don't face adversity, if you don't face uncomfortability, why the fuck would you want to do better? Genuinely. I don't know where any of that shit just came from.
Yeah.
Right before I was going to get on the plane, I looked at my girlfriend and said, I'm going to relapse.
When it comes to Bobby Lee's stand-up, a Reddit user wrote, I've seen him do the same set at the Comedy Store like 3 or 4 times, and I nearly cried laughing each time, while another person called it the hard...
I'm going to keep it 100%. I fucking hate this dude. He's a dick. Okay, but like not as in a funny, loving way like I am. This dude is a straight up fucking asshole, bro.
Hardest I've laughed at a comedy show of a decent slate of shows. It seems Bobby Lee finds love from the audience regardless of what he's doing, while the audience has recently been...
I don't know. I don't like that guy personally. He's like actually a fucking dickhead, like a aggressive dickhead. That's just my opinion though.
...in finding many reasons to hate Tom Segura.
It's because he's bald.
At the start of his career, Tom Segura was one of the more humble comedians. However, after losing over 50 pounds and building a net worth of 12 million, his ego became incredibly obvious. He'd begin to joke about the general population by calling them...
Now let's be careful, okay? Because people villainize and they antagonize people who have an ego, but there's a big difference between having an ego and being proud of yourself.
Pause.
So I've received a remarkable number of messages, countless poor people, about the use of a washcloth.
Wait, did he say poor people?
Number of messages, countless poor people, about the use of a washcloth in the shower. Yep. And, you know, it's kind of well known, it's what poors do.
However, it quickly became obvious that he wasn't really joking.
Every time we talk about like a watch or a car, I'll get a bunch of messages from losers that try to tell me that I'm making them feel bad about their situation. I'm struggling with rent this month. Figure it the f*** out.
In October 2000...
True! Hey, you showed off your watch. Oh, that makes me feel bad. Okay? They're both pussies. Sorry, man. Okay? Flexing wealth is cringe. Okay? Weaponizing you being poor is also cringe. Okay? I'm sorry. They're both in the wrong. Like, they are both wrong.
23, Tom tweeted about being inconvenienced by American Airlines, and after being called entitled by his fans, Tom responded by stating all the poors and losers have the same response. Oh, you were inconvenienced, well you should accept it. That's what me and my dumb poor family have done for generations. This is why you're poor.
That's crazy. Okay? That is fucking crazy.
In his next tweet, he'd respond to a fan by simply writing,
"Oh my god. Oh my god, bro is a tier 3 NMP sub."
Poor, while a third tweet read, "The lowest level poors get upset, as they've been trained to do when you point out they're happy to do what I'm told servant mentality. They don't value time because their time is worthless. You are specks of shit on a washcloth and washcloths belong in the trash." The rant instantly turned Tom into laughingstock for the internet.
Probably not that much money left over for the guys in the booth either.
Oh,
It's all
man.
Tom and Christina just running around, getting on private jets, making fun of poor people.
While others dug deep to find his wealth was likely inherited.
It turns out Tom was a trust fund kid. His father was the vice president and chief financial advisor of Merrill Lynch for 25 years, until he took over as the vice president and CFA for the Bank of America. His obituary mentions that he was a member of the Quail Valley Golf Club in Vero Beach, where a membership will run you a very modest $85,000 a year, not counting all of the other fees.
This led Tom to remove the entire chain of airport tweets and avoid every question that might imply he's rich.
What kind of car you have?
What kind?
You have cars?
Yeah,
How many cars you got? You alright?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking.
Tom Segura has no excuse for being a douchebag, given Gabriel Iglesias is substantially richer and is—
Okay. Do y'all like Gabriel Iglesias? Okay, I'll be real. I like him as an actor. I thought his show was actually pretty funny. But wasn't his whole gimmick, and don't get me wrong, I love, what's Tommy Wiseau's name? No, not Tommy Wiseau. Big fat fuck. Oh, fuck, the fatty. Chris Farley. Right? Chris Farley. You know they both wouldn't be funny if they weren't fat. You know that's true. You know it's true. They're not funny if they're not completely fucking fat. Like, almost every joke they have for Gabriel Iglesias was either racially motivated or because, look at how fat I am. You too? Okay. I mean, okay. Also, this guy has a Funko Pop on his shirt, bro. That's how you know he's a piece of shit.
Is one of the most humble comedians. When you type Gabriel Iglesias controversy into Google, it seems the worst thing he's ever done is pay a fine to a venue for spending too much time recording a Netflix special. Back in 2014, one of these specials was leaked and uploaded to YouTube for free, although instead of issuing a copyright takedown, he'd share the links to his Facebook, adding, "I can't believe someone posted a direct link to watch my fluffy specials online for free. The nerve. I hope no one shares or watches these before they get taken down," prompting a top comment reading, "This is why you're awesome, Fluffy. You don't whine about getting pirated, you promote it." Gabriel's nickname Fluffy is a joke about his own weight, which like Bobby Lee shows he's comfortable in his own skin. Although at the same time, Gabriel explained to Joe Rogan that he'd recently lost 70 pounds as a result of following better habits.
Good for him.
And it was bad habits that led Carlos Mencia—
Wait, that's why he was a good dude? He made fun of himself because he's a good dude because he made fun of himself and he self-deprecated. That's insane to me. Guys, I'm going to say it, okay? I'm going to say it. I actually genuinely don't like when my homies self-deprecate all the fucking time. I don't know. It just kind of makes me sad. Maybe that's a me thing. I just don't like promoting that too much. You know, it really makes me sad when somebody uses their joke, look, there's their appearance as a joke over and over and over again. Maybe that's fine for you guys. I don't think it's wrong. But I don't know. It just makes me sad when people self-deprecate. You know, not self-deprecate. That's okay. That's different, right? But I don't know. It just makes me feel bad for the guy. You know what I mean? But it's funny sometimes, but too much of it's annoying. One, and also it just really makes me wonder, if you shit on yourself that much as a joke, how much of that do you actually feel? So I try to let my homies know, they're like, hey bro, like that, it was funny, but like that's like enough. Like just like give yourself a break, you know? You've self-deprecated like a motherfucker on stream. In moderation. In moderation. It's not the only thing that I do. Guys, look, I'm bald. Wah, 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 wow, wow, wow. Shut the fuck up. I do not do that shit.
He had become incredibly hated. The collapse of his reputation began after Joe Rogan wrote a blog post titled
Okay, what fucking lizard man put Joe Rogan's face over their skin? What the fuck am I looking at?
𝗧𝗪𝗜𝗧𝗖𝗛 is a weak-minded joke thief which read, the latest and most disgusting joke thief of all is a guy named 𝗧𝗪𝗜𝗧𝗖𝗛. The really crazy thing is that's not even his real name.
Yeah.
He sells himself as being Mexican, but the reality is his real name is Ned Holness, and he's actually half German and half Honduran. The Mexican hook is something he did to integrate himself with the local Mexican population of LA where he started.
What?
From here, Joe began calling him 𝗧𝗪𝗜𝗧𝗖𝗛 before confronting him on stage in an actual comedy club, which was recorded and uploaded to YouTube.
It's easy to say you steal shit, but I don't, because I'm not a little bitch. I think that every time you open your mouth, you talk about me, I think that you're secretly in love with me.
Despite denying the allegations, Carlos was then exposed for stealing from Bill Cosby and Ari Shaffir.
Okay, well, if Bill Cosby exposed you, I'm sorry, bro. I'm on the other person's side. Me personally. You know, these are really good. Whoa, Adolf Hitler exposed this guy as cheating in Uno. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm on the other guy's side, to be honest. What's wrong with Bill? Yeah, you'll figure it out when you wake up. Yeah, bro's fucked up. Bro's fucked up. Bill didn't expose him, he stole from him. Oh, okay, interesting.
After which Carlos made the crazy decision to own the fact that he stole all his jokes.
His attitude was this, like, yeah, I steal. If I'm in the back of the room, you better watch your material because I'll take it, remix it, and make it a hit.
From here, almost every comedian destroyed 𝗧𝗪𝗜𝗧𝗖𝗛.
A lot of your material, I'm not saying all of it, but a lot of your material was too similar to Paul Mooney or Bill Hicks.
And he went from performing in stadiums to small clubs. There's a heavy price to pay for cutting corners in comedy, whereas Chris Rock...
Bro, I heard 𝗧𝗪𝗜𝗧𝗖𝗛 constantly when I was a kid. Hearing that he was a piece of shit, that's actually insane to me. That is insane. Now, Chris Rock
discovered there's much to gain in the power of a single slap.
Yeah.
Chris Rock has been admired and respected since the mid-1980s, although it seems being slapped by Will Smith made him even more loved. Ironically, the Will Smith slap made Chris a beloved winner. Will Smith accomplished the impossible with one targeted slap. Now everybody loves Chris.
Absolutely.
This was reinforced when Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage, after which Chris Rock jumped on the mic to ask,
Was that Will Smith?
Chris...
I never heard of that. That's fucking wild, bro. That's fucking wild. God damn, bro. Holy shit, bro's a memer.
Chris Rock just proved that if someone does you wrong in life, just wait, and the perfect moment will present itself.
Absolutely.
Proud of Chris Rock. He didn't let the Will Smith incident take him to a place of bitterness and anger, but stays humble and even makes a joke out of such a difficult spot to be in. There could not have a more perfect moment to drop that line. And the fact that Chris Rock wasn't really talking about the altercation before leading up to this just adds to the perfection of his delivery, and when Chris Rock did address the controversy in his special, he reinforced a winner's mindset.
But I'm not a victim, baby. You will never see me on Oprah or Gail. I couldn't believe it, and I love Men in Black. No, I took that hit like Pacquiao.
You know what's crazy? I understand that Will Smith is going through whatever arc that he's going through. I get it, right? He's a cock. I get it. He's a piece of shit now, right? I will still remember him as one of my childhood heroes. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing.